You know, ever since I was a young Drake, I've often found myself immersed in fictional worlds, whether it be books or movies or video games. There are many aspects of fiction that I enjoy: action, intrigue, high stakes, and, as much as I hate to admit it, the occasional romance. Do not tell my mother, because I will never hear the end of it. But of all the stories that can be created from the human imagination, one single consistent thing is at the center of my love for fiction. That being the hero. Not just a main protagonist, no. I'm talking the one who overcomes dangerous obstacles, the one who makes a stand for what they believe in, the one who triumphs over all odds. I love these kind of stories. I can't get enough of them. There's a certain purity to them, that classic good versus evil. It's inspiring. In fact, a pretty good chunk of human civilization was built upon stories of legendary heroes. People look up to them and aspire to be like them, even if in the end they are just fiction. But sometimes it's not as black and white as that. As it is to many things, there is nuance, more to it than just good versus evil. And this brings the potential for some truly fantastic stories. So where am I going with this, you might ask? Well, over the years, I have consumed a shit ton of fictional media, and there are two specific tropes that I want to talk about: redemption and the no-kill rule. Now, this was inspired in part by Sonic's characterization in the IDW comics, mainly when he explains his incredibly annoying habit of letting the bad guys go. Basically, he's operating on the hopes that if he shows Eggman enough mercy, then maybe he will change, and we'll get to that in a minute. I realize that this trope isn't limited to the Sonic franchise. So many other protagonists let their villains go or refuse to kill them for one reason or another, and this is the main thing I want to touch on because it can be infuriating at times. So we'll start with, in my opinion, the bigger issue: the no-kill rule. This is a mindset that many heroes have where they attempt to find any other way to stop their respective villains without having to resort to murder, no matter what atrocities they may have committed. When looking into their reasoning behind this decision, you'll often hear things like, killing isn't necessary, or if we do that, we're just as bad as they are, or if we show them mercy, they might redeem themselves. I'm of two minds about this. On the one hand, I believe in second chances. I believe in redemption, and murder, no matter the context or circumstance, is bad. On the other hand, how much can a villain get away with before being considered irredeemable? Let's look at Sonic. Sonic has been fighting with Eggman for years, thwarting one dastardly plan after another, and yet he just lets the Doctor escape after each encounter. Why? Alright, so we're gonna set aside all of the horrible things that Eggman's done for just a second. Sonic just lets him go, his number one op, every time. At the very least, he should try to put Eggman behind bars, even if he eventually escapes just for the sake of making Sega money. At least he's actually fucking trying. So, why doesn't he do that? Well, he explains why in issue 50 of the IDW comics after running the fade with some random-ass lady he met like 5 seconds ago. According to Sonic, he keeps letting bad guys go because he, wants everyone to have the freedom to make their own choices, and they wouldn't get that opportunity if he took that chance away. That's fucking stupid, and we thought Silver was naive. So he believes in second chances, and on a surface level, I agree with that. I believe that everyone should have an opportunity to fix their mistakes. The problem is, Eggman has had many chances to fix his mistakes, over dozens of games spanning several years, and every single time, he's always come back with a bigger master plan that puts millions of lives at risk. Case in point, Sonic Unleashed. In the opening of that game, Sonic chases Eggman through his big space station until he uses his super form to catch up with him. Now, the logical move after this would be to apprehend the 300 IQ madman while he has the upper hand. But he doesn't for some reason, and Eggman catches him in a trap. The Doctor then uses his crazy science dookie baba thingy to extract the power of the Chaos Emeralds and fires a massive laser at the Earth.
Super laser piss!
This causes the planet to split open, releasing Dark Gaia from within. Realistically, the effects of this event would be nothing short of absolutely fucking catastrophic. We're talking countless lives lost, complete economic collapse, mass panic, martial law, anarchy, environmental destruction, a literal extinction level event, and that's before we even talk about the big ass monster. This world was able to recover only through the sheer power of video game logic. But that's not going to bring millions of people back from the dead. And all of this could have been avoided if the fastest thing alive was able to react to a normal human moving at normal speed, pressing a big yellow button, but that's irrelevant to the point I'm trying to make. The point is, after this, Sonic should have realized that something had to be done about Eggman. Something a little more permanent than giving him a slap on the wrist and sending him on his way.
If you played nice, I wouldn't have to break all your bones. Wait, what?
The second they cross paths again, it should have been lights out for Eggman. He's too dangerous to be free. Even if he doesn't necessarily kill him, at least bury him deep in some inescapable prison. But no, we have to let the supervillain choose his own path and hope he eventually sees the errors of his ways. And surprise, surprise, Eggman did not change. Nope. Instead, he took over the world.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Global conflict, societal collapse, mass casualties, you know how the story goes. This whole war probably caused another several million people to lose their lives. And all of it could have been avoided if Sonic had simply dealt with Eggman literally any of the previous chances he had. Eggman is evil, and he has shown little to no signs of changing. I don't know why Sonic can't get that through his thick skull. Now, obviously, I'm saying that from a lore perspective. Sega needs Eggman to be a villain so they can make another 30 years worth of games, but that's neither here nor there. But it just makes me wonder, how far does the Doctor have to go before Sonic finally decides to do something about it? How many have to die? One of these days, Eggman is going to cause some horrific disaster and Sonic will not be able to fix it. This almost happened with the Metal Virus arc. When the Chaotix found Eggman living in that town that I'm currently having a hard time remembering the name of, Sonic shielded him from Shadow. Shadow, being the Chad that he is, saw an opportunity and wanted to take it. When Sonic stands in his way, Shadow brings up all of the terrible shit that he's done. And this blue gumball has the audacity to compare it to Shadow's own transgressions, saying that if Eggman can't be forgiven, then can Shadow?
Yes!
See, here's the difference between Shadow and Eggman. Shadow recognized that what he did was wrong. He felt guilt over it, and he had made an effort to fix what he had done. He has spent every waking moment trying to rectify the sins of his past, and he actually redeemed himself. Eggman has done no such thing. But of course, Sonic doesn't recognize that because he's a dumbass. So Sonic is able to convince Shadow to let Mr. Tinker reside peacefully in this village, on the premises that Eggman is gone and this harmless man is what remains. However, this simple act of leniency would allow Eggman to return, and with him bring a programmable apocalypse that nearly destroyed the entire world. And within weeks, if not days, most of the world had been infected. The only way he was able to stop this was with Silver's help and the Chaos Emeralds. And speaking of Silver, when he originally traveled to the past, it was to prevent the Eggman Empire from taking over the world. When he returned to his timeline, he found nothing but the ruins of humanity, and not a single organic life form to be found. This means that not only was Sonic responsible for the destruction caused by the virus, but he was also responsible for completely destroying Silver's future. At least, with the Eggman Empire, humanity still lived. But now, entire generations spanning 200 years, gone. Just like that. Because Sonic wouldn't make the hard call. All of this death and destruction is on his hands, yet he's still seen as a hero. This is what Surge was getting at when she confronted him. And she's absolutely right. Hell, she even tells him that if he didn't have the balls to take care of Eggman, then have someone else do it. Shadow, Silver, Blaze, Espio, Whisper, they would have zero qualms about putting Eggman in the Forever Box. Whisper almost did it for f***'s sake. She had him dead to rights, but no, Cream the Rabbit asked her not to. They were this close to having a better world, to solving 90% of their problems. All of this could have been over, but she didn't take the shot! And now Eggman is free once again to do whatever the hell he wants. Once again, millions of lives are now at risk. Whisper had every right and every reason to take the shot. Now, granted, a decision like this would always be a difficult one. Whisper would either have to live with the fact that she took someone's life, or she would have to live with the fact that she let him go to commit more atrocities. It's a horrible burden that no one should have to bear. And it really says something about your heroes when a D-list character has more cajones than the main fucking protagonist. Now, all of this being said, I think that mercy is incredibly important. It can separate heroes from their villains. But Eggman has been shown mercy every single time. And every single time, it has bit Sonic in the ass. As I said before, how many have to die before Sonic realizes that Eggman will never change? This is why Movie Sonic is my favorite version. He doesn't have this problem. But this doesn't just apply to Sonic. The Flash, Spider-Man, Batman, each of them have a no-kill rule, and each of them put lives at risk because of it, even when the villain in question is irredeemable. But this brings up a few questions. What makes a character irredeemable? There have been several other characters in fiction that have done worse than Eggman, and yet they were redeemed. Such example would be the Arbiter from Halo, a former shipmaster for the religious military faction of aliens known as the Covenant. During his time in their service, he was responsible for the destruction of many planets and the loss of billions of human lives. And yet, the UNSC allowed him to live, to return to St. Helios and restore the pride of its people. What makes the Arbiter different from Eggman is the fact that the Arbiter did what he did not because he was evil, but because the prophets led him and the entire Covenant to believe that humans were a parasite who destroyed and twisted everything they touched.
Yet the humans were able to evade your ships, land on the sacred ring, and desecrate it with their filthy footsteps.
He destroyed worlds because he thought himself a righteous soldier. When he discovered that the prophets lied about the true purpose of the Halos, he turned his back on the Covenant. He not only helped put an end to the Human Covenant War, but he forged an alliance with humanity, helping them rather than trying to destroy them. Alright, well, what about Virgil from Devil May Cry? He's a popular character, but he's got a whole lot of blood on his hands. Does he deserve redemption? Now, this one, I will admit, is a little tricky. In the events of DMC5, he separates his human and demon halves to gain more power. His demon half, Urizen, goes on to grow the Qliphoth, a demonic tree that would siphon the blood of humans and imbue incredible power to whoever consumed the fruit of this process. This resulted in millions of lives being lost all over the world. So the reason that this is tricky is that it technically wasn't Virgil who decided to grow the Qliphoth, rather his demon half Urizen, but he still made the choice to separate himself. However, his human half, V, tries to fix this by helping Dante defeat Urizen, which means that he understands right and wrong and knows that what he did wasn't good. When V reunites with Urizen toward the end of the game, Virgil is reborn, but instead of continuing what Urizen started, he sits upon his plastic chair, thinking about his past. He wonders if his path would have been different if Eva had saved him before she died rather than Dante. Maybe he would have led a good, moral life like his brother.
That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life? And you mine?
There is good in Virgil, and deep within there's a part of him that wants to do the right thing. He just happened to fall victim to bad luck and circumstance. I think this makes him deserving of a second chance. At the end of the game, Virgil goes with Dante down to the underworld in order to kill the Qliphoth. He begins the first step of a redemption arc, and even if he would never admit it, especially to Dante, he wants to make things right. A sentiment that Eggman has never shared. So, to wrap all this up, there are times when being a hero isn't as black and white as it seems. I love Sonic. I love the IDW series, but I think they kinda ass-fucked him in his writing from a moral standpoint. This is partially the writer's fault. There are good ways to handle a moral issue such as the NoKll Rule when it comes to heroes, but the way it's handled in the Sonic franchise, they've accidentally made him worse than the very thing he protects people from by enabling Eggman's freedom. Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. If you're not going to arrest him, and you're not going to kill him, then at the very least, get this man some real estate and let him build his fucking theme park.